Breaking news from the stadium tonight as an anonymous fan foot the bill for 55,000 hot dogs, bringing that sweet tubed meat to everyone in attendance.
Free dogs! Yeah!
55,000 hot dogs? What does that even cost?
While the identity of this Frankfurter philanthropist remains anonymous, their all-beefy generosity will go down in history.
The new Mega Millions. More to win means more to give. How you spend it is up to you. Yeah!
For game odds and details, visit sceducationlottery.com.
Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Yes! Are y'all ready to get into some women's wrestling? Ooh, Kiara, what's up, sickos? It's me, Bex Bastet, and this is Don't Call Me Diva, where we only talk women's wrestling. I run down the weekly matches of AEW, ROH, women's division, and we learn about the wrestlers who face them. It's nothing but wonderful kayfabe here in Divaville. We discuss lore, we make up lore, we fantasy book, we make up songs, waffle off on tangents, and that's the Don't Call Me Diva promised. It's episode 16. Wait, no, 17. Holy shit, I don't even know my own episodes. Episode 17 of Don't Call Me Diva. And if you need to know more about why I and we are here, go check out episode 1 in the playlist down below somewhere. Let's go, sickos. Let's get into it. We have a little new kind of little shout out, little thing here. I'm giving happy birthday shout outs to the ladies who have been having their birthday today, and they involve I was about to call her Smasha Milanovic because I am disheveled. This is a disheveled show. Sometimes all blame on me. No blame on Jane at all. Masha Slamovich, Jessie McKay from The Inspiration, Vix Crow, a.k.a. Alicia Fox, Sue Young, who I love and just had an amazing match against Kid Bandic. Oh, she's so cool. Camille, who has just landed a role on the new American Gladiator show, which is awesome for her. This is going to be great. I think she's going to fit in with that perfectly. Jessie McKay and that's all the birthdays, by the way. We're moving on. Jessie McKay and Kathy Lee, The Inspiration, are back in wrestling. You may have heard. They are back in TNA and are already getting into the mix over there. So that's exciting. I'll be able to see what's going on. Although I do wonder if, the whole like TNA leading into Wubbly Wubbly will happen with them, but we'll see what happens. I think they should go to AEW. You know why, but we'll just see what goes on there, shall we? Our girl Shotzi is back on a kick-ass indie tour, and she recently expressed interest in AEW. In her words, since they have hot girls making out. So, if she debuts and lays a smacker on someone, don't act all surprised out there. And, well, I know you will, but try. Try to get over it. I just recently learned, I'm so late to this, but Daria, aka Sonia Deville, and her lovely wife Tony have a show on YouTube called Unwrapped with Daria and Tony. I have only recently discovered this, she says twice, and it is quite good. I enjoy their banter. It's lovely lesbian ladies looking effortlessly gorgeous, relaxing in the studio shooting the shit. Happy Pride! I watched their interview with Shotzi and it was a lot of fun. And without further ado, my dear sickos, are you ready to get into the meat of this episode? All right, just strap yourself in. It's not your normal little, well, it kind of is, but we have to do a little waffling on at the end. All right, you ready? Bring the boom! Shake your boobs! It's the summer blockbuster. See, it doesn't really roll off the tongue that well, but anyway, it was another fun 4 hours of wrestling, and I swear this week went by fucking quicker than the last week, and it was just all go from like minute one. We are in Portland, Oregon, which for ages I thought was in a completely different state, not Oregon, Portland. Marina and the rest of the Death Riders stalk Hangman backstage, which is not good for our Cowboys' health at all. Very dastardly. After the opening banger between Dear Swerve and Mr. Ospreay, Marina and the Death Riders approach the ring from wherever they have been lurking backstage. Marina must have gotten Hangman on her top because she is now in grey. She was originally in battle red, but now she's in battle grey. They are circling the ring that contains Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana. Marina stays close to Mox, as she's been doing recently, as he stalks around the ringside. Before they can do whatever their plan was, the EVPs, the Young Bucks, the fucking elite, the talented fuckaroos, but they're little assholes, and they come in and they attack Swerve again. Fucking Yuta hands them a bag containing what turns out to be a pair of Swerve's new branded Reeboks with the old thumbtacks on the soles, as is the Jackson's way. Marina and the rest of the Death Riders feck off and leave the Young Bucks to royally fuck up. Thank goodness. But not without our poor Will Ospreay getting the brunt of those shoes. This is not working out well for our good men of AEW. But we are moving on. The remarkable in summer, Renee Paquette, is in all black this evening, and you know I love to see it. She has on mesh with an embroidered decal of patiny something with a long sleeve top over a black tank. Black silk looking pants with chain accessories. Her hair is out in golden waves and she is wearing a gorgeous chain necklace. Mwah! Beautiful. Renee is getting the scoops from the Continental Champion himself, Okada. This gets interrupted by the Don Callis family and his band of very unmerry men. Lucky Renee. She deals with that and we move on. After some more shenanigans from the menfolk, we see what the Death Riders have done to Hangman. Fucking Yuta and Claudio are throwing him to the ground, kicking and stomping on him. Marina walks slowly behind them with the briefcase in hand, watching them drag Hangman, bound and gagged, to the ring. The illegal shenanigans that have gone against the Death Riders when they finally do get dethroned. Their day is coming, my friends. Their day is coming. Once the ring, oh no, not the ring, once in said ring, Marina just leans on the ropes and watches the men do their thing. Marina seems to have a calmness within her again at this particular moment, but Hangman cracks Mox in the face with his own skull, and Marina snaps into action. She pounces on Hangman and holding him down with a chokehold while fucking Yuta stomps on Hangman's belly. The Death Riders attempt murder for like the 10th time in their AEW career, but the Ops hit the ring and they just all jit it from the ring. You know, they're criminals, they're attempted murderers, but they're very cowardly. Next up, my dear sickos, we have a tag match. Yes! Mega Bad, Penelope Ford, and Megan Baines' music hits first. They come out in their blue and white gear, topped with antler crown for Penelope and winged headdress for Megan. They battle pose on the entrance stage. Fire erupts next to them and beside them, and it's amazing! Love them so much. Next that comes out is Ty J. They are back. They have new music, I think, or is it the old one? I think it might be new music, but just with the old Ty J fight, which I'd totally forgotten about was a thing before that. And it's so cool. And as we will learn later on this episode, they've been a tag team for a while. So, Ty is in yellow, green, and blue battle gear with fishnets and stars. Brazil colors and lines and little drips under her eyes. Jay is in her sparkly black battle gear. Both are redonkulously happy to be fighting together again, and so am I. I'm here for it. Portland welcomes back Ty Mello with a welcoming chant, and it will be Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford to start the match. After some smack talking, and before either wrestler lock up, Megan Bain tags Penelope's shoulder, and Ty calls for the tag from Anna. Looks like Bain and Mallow will be starting this match instead. Despite this being her first encounter with Bain, Ty walks straight up to her, no fear. But as Megan stands over Ty, Penelope races back into the ring and clocks Ty in the side of the head. I love you, Penelope, but that was a bit rude, just saying. Ty stumbles back into her corner and Jay tags in. She cannot wait to get her hands on Bain. Penelope goes for Ty, who is still in the corner. It's already gone haywire here, people. Ty manages to take Ford down, and after Bain clubbers Jay with a stiff lariat. Oh, Jay. He'll be back soon. Ty and Bain face each other again. Ty wants her hands all over Bain. In a painful way, not a sexy way. Sometimes the two go hand in hand, but not here, not today, people. Ty and Bain are getting in each other's face. Mello is stating that she is not afraid of Bain, and Bain is telling her to bring it. Ty would instead get yoinked by her feet and dragged out of the ring by Penelope, then sent into the steel chairs. No, steel stairs. Way worse. Jay has gotten back to her feet and is laying forearms into Bain, whom she is currently on the ropes. Anna makes the mistake of giving Bain some room by running to the other ropes for momentum, and when Anna runs back, Bain would scoop her up, and then after a very delayed, slams her down onto the mat by a pumped up Bain. Ugh. Megan figuratively kicks the dirt over Anna, as is her tradition. The crowd give her the applause that they deserve. They love this. They love Ty J, but they, respect the Bain. Anna becomes, I should just say, the tortured one in the threesome and gets absolutely smooshed by Bain, and then gets a handspring back elbow delivered perfectly into her face by Ford, who is now the legal member of her team. I was about to call her the legal tender of her team, and that's a whole different that's a whole different world. Ford licks Anna's face, as is her tradition, and Anna has had enough of this, I say. She has been activated and stops Penelope in her tracks with a stiff forearm to the chest. Anna whips Ford into multiple corners, body slamming her and cracking Ford in the face with a dangerous J kick. Jay hoists Penelope up onto the top rope, cracks her in the face with another dangerous J kick, then gives Ford an iconoclasm that slams Penelope down on the mat, followed by a drop kick to the face. Ty is stoked, but Bain is pissed. Anna grabs Penelope by the head and drags her over to Ty, and Ty tags in. It is now Ty J, who double team up on Penelope with heavy back elbows to her face while she is trapped in the corner. Jay respectfully exits the ring afterwards. Ty just wants to talk smack though and tags Anna back in. Okay. Anna takes Penelope to the center of the ring for a suplex, but Bain has seen enough, I tell you. Bain sprints over to Ty and kicks her off the ring apron. Jay attempts her suplex, but Megan blocks it and plows a forearm straight through Jay's face. Ford and Bain then execute another excellent double team and take Jay out. This, of course, calls for a mighty battle pose. With the damage done, Bain gets back into her corner. Ty is crawling back up onto the apron, and Penelope pulls Jay up off the mat by her hair, grabs her wrist, and boots Jay in the face whilst giving her quite a bit of shit. Jay thinks this is beyond rude and fights back fairly, but Penelope has a higher rude level and hammers down on Jay's back, completely stopping her momentum. Penelope drags Anna Jay over to the ropes and puts her in her rope choke for a while because the ref was a bit intimidated by Bain's battle posing nearby. Just like my mouth is intimidated by saying words right now. Anna is released and she clumps down to the floor. Ford grabs her by the hair again, gets Jay to her feet, and then sends her face first in the corner turnbuckle and tags in Bane. Ford keeps Jay in the corner by blocking her in with her body until Megan is ready to run in a slam. Very smart tag team work. Completely pushing all the air out of Jay as she slams her whole body into her. An overhead belly-to-belly suplex sends Jay flying in the direction of her own corner, but not close enough for Ty to be able to tag her. Ford has tagged in, and Megan positions Jay in the middle of the ring by dragging her lifeless body by the wrist. Bane goes on all fours, and Ford uses her strong back to moonsault off of, and she lands perfectly onto Jay. It was very, very, very impressive, and the crowd thought so too. Ford goes for the pin, but Anna still kicks out at 2, causing Penelope to let out a large battle cry of frustration. Anna still cannot get to Jay, who is desperately stretching out her arm for a tag. Ford holds Anna in place by choking her out and then decides to give her a nice mid-match stretch by pressing her knee into Anna Jay's back while pulling her arms backwards at the same time. Oh, that actually feels quite good. Ford takes Jay back over to her corner again and tags in Megan, using her body to keep Jay in place until Bane gets into the ring. Megabad are working insanely well as a team, almost becoming psychic between each other. When the tag division gets officially established, these two are going to be a very tough to beat. They've already got a big head start on pretty much everyone, apart from Ty J. So, yeah, maybe them in the finals for whatever would happen in the future. Moving on. Megan Bane pummels Anna Jay with 3 stiff lariats, holding onto her wrist until the final blow. Anna manages to drag herself to the corner, but it's not the corner containing Ty, unfortunately. Anna sees an opening and quickly sidesteps Bane. Incoming body slam. Bane's incoming body slam, but cannot get herself to Ty before Penelope gets in the ring again and stops her. Anna does manage to avoid Penelope, and she sends her to the outside, but it's right where Ty is standing on the apron, and before Anna can tag her, Penelope pulls Ty off the apron, and Bane lands a running boot into the side of Jay's skull. Megan Bane nails Jay with a flying lariat, goes for the pin again, but Anna is still able to kick out strongly, might I add, at 2. Very impressive, but Bane is mad. She pushes Jay into the corner, gives her 3 rough shoulder tackles to the gut before placing her on the top rope with ease, planting her there with a nasty chop to Anna's chest. It was spicy, people. It awoke Anna, though. She beats down on Bane's back, and Bane jumps down off the ropes. Bane runs back in, but gets a boot to the face from Jay instead, sending Bane stumbling backwards. Anna Jay flies and connects with the blockbuster on Bane, and both wrestlers are now down on the mat, reaching and crawling for their tag partners. Bane gets to Ford just before Jay gets to Ty, but Ty has been watching her bestie get beaten up for the last 3 minutes and is running on pissed power, and she plows through Ford with a running lariat twice. The third time it is blocked, but Ty keeps it going with a standing switch into a suplex, and then Mello missiles her knee through Penelope's face and goes for a pin. She might have gotten it too, to be honest, but Bane is in the ring and she breaks it up before it can get to 3. Megan grabs Penelope by the wrist and drags her over to their corner in commanding but hilarious fashion. Bane steps through the ropes so she can legally tag herself in, and no one say the woman's not efficient. Bane stomps right up to Ty, and Ty stands right up to Bane, beating on Megan's chest with stiff elbow shots, but one return elbow from Bane collapses Mello, and she crashes down into the mat. Ty Mello seeks refuge in the corner, and Bane takes aim for a running body splash on Ty, but it was a ruse, and Ty quickly foots it out of the corner, and Bane takes herself out. Ty comes running in at the Megasis with a strong pump kick that lands perfectly in her face. Ty whips to the side and then runs in with another pump kick that that evens out the face of Bane. Mello runs to the final corner, this one directly across from the one Bane was clinging to life in. Ty points at Bane's limp body, yells, "Bitch!" at the top of her lungs, and then runs a third and final pumped kick boot straight through Bane's face. Ty brings the Megasis into the middle of the ring to deal more damage to Bane, but Bane has regenerated and counters Ty's plans by hoisting her onto his shoulders for Faint's descent. But as Bane goes to land the finisher, Ty counters, lands on her feet, engages judoka mode, inside toe trips Bane, rolls her up onto her stomach, locks in a nasty calf slicer with leg scissors added for extra destruction, and Bane is in immense distress. Bane gets herself out of trouble, though, by using her long, strong arms to reach out, not for the ropes, my friends, but behind her for the skull break as she grabs Ty's face and slams her head repeatedly into the mat, kind of like that. It is very, very efficient, and Ty has to let go of the submission. All right, she's going to get major brain damage. Penelope screams encouragement at Megan, and Bane runs straight for Ty, who is leaning on the ropes. Ty sees Bane coming at her and quickly pulls down the top rope, and the Megasis goes toppling out over the top rope and onto the floor. Penelope's like, "Fick," and tries to grab Ty as Mallow climbs out onto the apron, but Ford is unable to stop Ty cannonballing into Bane. Mallow impressively lands on her feet and lets out a fabulous battle cry as she beats on her chest. Anna gets in on the action and flies from Brett's rope of healing power at Bane, slamming right through her with a lovely crossbody. Ty goes in to check on Anna, who is still feeling the strain from the damage she has taken from Megabad. Mallow is, of course, concerned about her bestie, but this is still a match, ladies. Stop huddling and get Bane into that ring. Are you not aware that the stupendous Ford is positioning herself on the top rope, readying herself to fly at the both of you? No, apparently you weren't. Ford takes aim and then sends her body flying backwards into the air and lands perfectly on Ty J. Penelope gets to her feet quickly, throws Jay into the ring by her hair. Jiminy crickets! Hair is fabulous, but it's a restless curse, isn't it? Bane is in the ring, ready to receive her sacrifice. I have no idea when she got to her feet, her being Bane, but she is back up and she is in full strength. Jay's fucked. The Megasis gets Anna onto her shoulders. Penelope grabs Ty, rolls her into the ring, and sends her at Bane, who catches Ty. And now Ty J are like the candy on this sexy, fleshy human lollipop situation we got going on here. Megan Bane is the embodiment of strength, and she takes a moment to position herself correctly before simultaneously giving Jay a Samoan drop and Ty a fall-away slam. That's a thing of beauty. Megan gets to her feet and lets out a roar of a battle cry, and everyone is rightfully very impressed. Penelope has an extreme desire to hurt Ty and calls on Bane to tag her in. Megan drags Ty Mallow's body over to her corner and tags in Penelope. Penelope takes Mallow into the center of the ring, hoists her up onto her shoulders, but Mallow is wriggling for her life, and Bane is too busy getting choked by Jay to help Ford from getting a knee to the face from Ty via the Ty KO. This has come out of nowhere. Ty pins Ford and gets the 1, the 2, the 3. Yo! Ty J win against Megaband. The Megasis rages and pulls Anna Jay into the ring while Jay still has her in a choke locked in. Bane whips Anna over her head. Jay tumbles to the mat. Megan pounces on her and slaps her in the face and then lays stiff shots into Jay's body. Ty tries to pull Jay out of the ring by her foot, but is only successful once Megan decides that she is done. Anna and Ty raise their hands in victory while Penelope glares at them through her one good eye, and Megan fumes, pacing the ring. Absolutely still able to go if she was given the opportunity. I can definitely see a hardcore match in Ty J and Megaband's future, because yeah, Bane was pissed at that. I mean, they lost like legitimately, but she was mad, so mad. After some action from the menfolk, we scoot backstage where Lexi Nair and Gorgeous Red is interviewing the biggest of bills and the angriest of apples. The workhorsemen are back, which is fab. JD Drake is the only JD worth a dime in the wrestling world at the moment. We are here because of Lexi and her shiny red jacket and mini red skirt outfit with matching zips that go all the way down the front. And her hair is immaculate, as per usual. Things go off without a hitch, and we're moving on to the CEO. Madame Monet is here to observe the match between Darkness Julia Hart and the world champion Timeless Tony Storm. Mercedes Monet is in a grey bodysuit with long sleeve that is covered in silver stars and all the bedazzle in the world. It is long and it has like this really long, silvery, fringy stuff that just swooshes down from the sleeves. It's quite dramatic. Topped off with those questionable silver thigh-high boots that I'm not really a big fan of. But hey, I mean, I kind of love to hate them, but as the CEO does her battle dance of CEO confidence, all the fringing dance around her, and it's quite the vibe, I have to say. The CEO has a banquet ringside, and her belts have already been seated at the table. She has a very little lamp that is setting a mood, if nothing else. A glass of wine, some water, a humble vase of flowers, all tops off this dining ringside experience. Now, I am going to squash all the fun ideas that might be going through your head right now. Because if you're anything like me, and I know I am, you instantly thought someone's face is going into all that food and that table is done for. But no, not a morsel was tarnished by wrestling shenanigans, which has to be at first in wrestling, I have to say. We also welcome Arkady Aura to the show as ring announcer for the rest of Summer Blockbuster. Welcome, my dear. Darkness falls and a red glow hits the arena, and it's time for the entrance of the awesome Julia Hart from the Hounds of Hell. As we pan down to Hart, she is one with her music, as is tradition, and slowly walks to the middle of the entrance stage, where she joins hands with Sky Blue. Sky's long hair is in two cute as fuck ponytails, and she is wearing black in a corset with booty shorts, and she's just looking bad. Julia is in her black and red battle gear plus her hat of dead souls, but new gear, people. Julia has a lime neon green look for this match. Long blaggy. I always say long blaggy. Long baggy pants. A green corset with like corseting laced up at the front with black mesh arms. It is so fucking cool. It looks amazing on her. Kind of clashes with the red, but yeah, it looks amazing on her. Small fire. And they walk to the ring. Julia takes to the ropes for her iconic battle pose, and Sky battle poses on the apron. And then we get bigger fire. And the ritual of the entrance is complete. But now the world goes grey, but it's rainbows in our hearts, because it's time for Timeless Tony Storm. I love doing that. The forever impeccably dressed and loyal butler accompanies the world champion to the ring. The timeless world champion swooshes out to the applause from the crowd in a black satin robe with fluff along the sleeves, and a black battle one piece with a stripe of white along the top and straps. It's been a fabulous evening for the all black outfits. Okay, saying that for a Kiwi is fucking hilarious. It didn't like click when I said it when I was writing it, but it clicked when I said it, and that was weird. All black outfits. Then why not just roll with like some fun kayfabe, as we like to do here? And I am going to make a statement that they all listen to my show, and this is all for me. So thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. Timeless glides to the ring and around it, walks straight up to the CEO and gives her a quick sniffing. The world champion fingers Moné's mashed potato, not an euphemism, and then with a battle cry of a banshee, Sky Blue runs at the world champion and bashes at her from behind. The champion goes down and Sky mounts her, raining down closed fists onto the Timeless One. The ref is trying to gain some control, but ends up having to pull Sky Blue off of Storm. But this just leaves an opening for Julia to start beating in on Storm. Blue breaks free from the ref's grasp, and now it's both Blue and Hart beating down on the world champion. This is not a great start for the Timeless One, as Julia Hart and Sky Blue are being ruthless. The ref is like, fuck this noise, and banishes Sky Blue to the back. Sky Blue tries to protest, of course, but Ref Aubrey has the law and the crowd on her side. Blue is pissed, but she must go. Behind the ref's back, though, Julia's gotten some good stomps on the world champion. But once the ref does turn around, is done with Blue, I should say, she demands Julia to stop it immediately and checks in on Toni Storm, who is battered on the floor. Mercedes Moné is unimpressed that her dinner became a part of the show, but I mean, what did she even expect? Slightly delulu as our 5 belts and boats owning Moné. Does the amount of boats you end up with the belts make you more crazy? I mean, originally I thought if you took away the belts, she would go more crazy. But maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's adding boats all along. Moving on. Luther, the ref, and the ringside Dockaroonie are still checking on the Timeless One to see if she can even start this match. Julia Hart addresses the booing crowd with a very sassy apology as she gets into the ring. Mercedes got hit with the British standing next to Nigel and mocks the world champion in some sort of accent while she's filming and laughing hysterically. The crowd are cheering on Timeless Storm as she drags her ass into the ring. The ref asks her for the millionth time if she was all right to start this match, and the world champion tells her to ring the bloody bell already. The champion is still holding the back of her head, but will not be slinking away from this fight. The bell has rung and Julia runs at Timeless, body slams her into the corner and then beats on her with multiple forearms. Toni Storm fights through the barrage of forearms and pushes Julia Hart off her and tries to turn it around on Hart. But Hart changes it up and pulls Toni's feet out from underneath her, gives the world champion a few good stomps to the gut, and then she climbs to the top rope with ease, lands her perfect moonsault, splatting Timeless onto the mat. Julia then goes for the pin on the world champion in a tight little package, but Toni Storm is strong enough to kick out before 3. Julia is full of wrath and beats down on the back of the Timeless One. Toni has felt enough, though, and turns the tides on Hart with a shotgun dropkick off the ropes that takes Hart off her feet. Toni Storm lets out a battle cry and the crowd cheers with her. Julia is amongst the ropes trying to gain some stamina back, but as soon gets punted off the apron to the floor from the world champion's hip attack. After announcing an ad break, the Toni Storm limps over to where the CEO is dining and has the essence of William Regal emanating from her posture and facial expressions. It was quite uncanny. It's quite the impersonation, I have to say. And now I want to see Timeless play the role of William Regal for just for kicks and for kicks, just once. It'd be funny. Toni spies a downed Hart against the steel steps and runs at her for another devastating hip attack. But Julia's like, "It was a ruse," and quickly scampers out of the way. The world champion goes hip first into the steel steps with a nasty thud. Julia rolls the world champion back into the ring, mounts her, and then repeatedly slams her head down into the mat. A sexy pin is denied for 2. Julia is frustrated, but the Timeless One doesn't get up, and Hart pounces on her with a rear naked choke. The champion is having none of this bollocks, though, and elbows Julia in the womb until she lets go. But Julia refuses to let go, and instead moves her body away from the champion and twists Toni's arm around by the wrist, and then roughly pulls down, trying to remove Storm's arm from her shoulder socket. Julia walks to the top rope for Old School, which we really need a new unique name for, and clubbers down onto Toni Storm. Julia bursts off the ropes and drives a running clothesline straight through the world champion's skull. Julia goes for a pin again, but can only hold her down for 2. Julia pounces on Toni Storm again and applies a chinlock variant of the camel clutch. I knew I was going to add clutch and camel together. See, I just did it again. Timeless fights through the pain, sucks in all the air, and gets to her feet, bringing Julia Hart with her, still on the champion's back. Toni gets Julia off of her by slamming backwards into the corner, crushing Julia's body, and then Timeless cracks her in the face with multiple back elbows. Nothing keeps Julia down, though. In fact, the closer Toni seems to inflicting real pain on the Heartless One, the more it seems to fuel her. Julia eats the last elbow, battle cries, and grabs the world champion by the throat and pushes her into the corner from whence she came. Julia lays in forearms to Toni's chest and then starts stomping and kicking her down into the mat. Julia split chokes Toni Storm while staring directly at the ref, who is counting her to 5 to break this illegal maneuver. Julia grabs Toni Storm to bring her to her feet, but the Timeless One has been doing business with Brett's healing rope of power and quickly turns it around onto Hart. Toni chops the shit out of Julia's chest, but as she brings Hart to the middle of the ring, Hart gains control again by hammering down on Toni's back. That pre-match beatdown has really hindered the world champion. The world champion finds herself in a sticky situation once again as Julia mounts her back, locks Toni's arms behind her, putting pressure on the joints of her shoulders and lower back. Oh, it's a painful little hold she has her in. With the crowd fully behind her, cheering her on, she gets to her feet. The world champion once again is able to fight out of this painful submission. Toni gets to her feet, but Julia's vice-like grip on the Timeless One's wrist makes it impossible for Toni to break away from Hart successfully. Hart climbs to the top rope and walks it for another old school, but Timeless has her wits about her this time and pulls Julia's foot off the ropes, and Julia has an unpleasant personal encounter with the top rope. The world champion tries to give her a thrill by grabbing the top rope, and eventually Julia tumbles off to the mat, I should say. Timeless grabs Hart by her hair and snaps her over her head to the mat with a snappy suplex. The world champion gets Julia over again, and with a deadlift German suplex followed by a lovely pump handle suplex, the world champion is charged up, and so now is the crowd. Toni Storm completes her violent dance of suplexes with a beautiful fisherman suplex and holds the bridge for the pin, but Hart can still kick out at 2. The Timeless world champion takes a moment to suck in the power from the crowd and suck in some air before she takes aim for another hip attack, but Julia has the ref's attention. She is stalling for some reason, and this gives Hart the perfect opportunity to regroup. And as the world champion runs into attack, Julia traps Toni with her limbs and uses the ropes to perform her illegal but very awesome submission, the tarantula. She has until the ref gets to 5 before she must let go, but Hart releases the champion at around 3.5. Julia emerges from between the ropes and glomps herself onto Toni Storm. Julia twists her body around the world champion and captures her dead center in the ring with her octopus stretch. Julia screams out a battle cry to enhance the pain. Toni uses her strong legs to walk them both to the ropes, and she breaks a submission from Hart. Julia doesn't give her any space, though, and hammers down on Toni's back. But as Julia goes to the ropes for momentum, she comes back and finds herself sky high from the world champion, and Toni slams her down for the pin, but is denied by Julia Hart, who kicks out at 2. As they get back to their feet, Julia quickly uses her toots and shimmies her hips and trips Toni down to the mat. Julia drags Storm's body over to the corner and punches her in the gut and plants her there. Julia climbs to the top rope to nail the world champion with another moonsault, but the champion is quick and rolls out of the way. Julia is also quick, though, and lands on her feet, but the champion pounces on Hart, brings her down, and encapsulates Julia in her big cabbage. Encapsulates her in her big package, not her big cabbage. match. And the 1, and the 2, and the 3. And we have a win by the Timeless One. Julia is furious. No one is enjoying losing this evening, I should say. And I think her new gear was trying to get into business for itself, which would not have helped at all. Julia still has a lot of fight into her, and she wants to get her hands on the Timeless One, but the ref is warning her and tells her to get her butt out of the ring. Surprisingly, Julia actually listens. Timeless has her arm raised in victory, but she is hurting from that match and the pre-match beatdown. She takes her time getting to her feet. The CEO has left her table and is walking to the ring to face the world champion, who is still on her knees. The TBS champion stands over the Timeless One, and when Tony notices that she's there, I don't know if she's more taken aback by her being so close or is mesmerized by her thighs. But what Mercedes does next must have hardened the world champion's nips, because Monet leans in real close and takes a deep inhale of the battle-worn Toni Storm. When Mercedes is done, she takes the world champion back off her feet with a stiff shove to the mat. The CEO mounts the Timeless world champion and starts just laying hands into her. Timeless never did that. But what is this? The upbeat music of Mina Shirakawa has hit, and soon Mercedes sees Mina's coming and she jits it out of the ring like a coward. Mina is an all-blue demon with booty shorts and boobalicious hold neck. Mina nurses the world champion against her bosom, and the crazed Monet rushes back into the ring and starts attacking Mina. Mercedes Monet sends Mina Shirakawa out of the ring and stalks up to the downed world champion and dares to pick up the world championship title. The crowd boos as Monet holds the world championship above her head. But there are some, small chance for the CEO out there. Mercedes tells the Timeless One to kiss her title goodbye, smushes her face into it, and then celebrates with a satisfying CEO ego boost. Boogie woogie, and we fade away to the back where Lexi Nair has an interview with Ricochet. Oh. She's trying to get the scopes on this new stable he's hunting for members about. We leave. Blake Christian and Lee Johnson join the conversation. We bugger off. That match by Julia Hart and Toni Storm was heavy hitting. Julia Sky didn't need to beat down on Toni Storm, but I'm sure it felt good. With the two, right? The way I'm seeing it, it's like Sky has more of this emotional, not emotional and like an out of control kind of way, but an emotionally fueled fire to just get into like a fight, right? She doesn't care about the morals or the whatever or the hoodly or the whatsies. She doesn't have to be in the match. She wants to inflict pain. Julia also wants to inflict pain, but she likes to stretch you and technically manipulate you and psychologically fuck with you. I love it. They're a great team, an absolutely great team. And I do wonder if we're going to get them officially pairing up and if that would put Sky Blue in the Hounds of Hell or what's going to be going on there. Who knows? It's very exciting. I'm excited. Can you tell? Next up, my lovely little sickos, we have an intergender trios match of comedy brilliance involving Tomohiro Ishii and Mark Briscoe with Willow versus the MXN Collection and Taya Valkyrie. I love everyone in this match. They are all so talented, and I just love that they will also play like silly buggers, like happily, like they're seriously like talented wrestlers, but they're just so silly. I love it. Ishii comes out with Briscoe, and then the joyous tunes of Willow Nightingale's music hits, and the crowd erupts with cheers as the hero of the locker room comes out to join her wonderful teammates. Willow has on her awesome branded jacket, while over her white, silver, and pink battle gear with white boots. As Willow battle poses in the ring, we are pulled to the back where a lurking Chris Statlander is watching her former best friend on the telly. Chris's bundled up in a black, very comfortable looking jacket, and a light olive grey bandana covers her black hair. Very understated is our Statlander. Chris is just watching the screen, nothing else. Willow is a bundle of joy in the ring, and all of a sudden this is just too much for Stat, and she exits stage right. This cannot be good for her psyche. Like, seeing Willow just completely unbothered. Completely unbothered. I mean, I've said this before. Chris has brought this on herself. I don't know where this darkness was coming from, but I mean, you can't just go around fucking enjoying choking people out willy-nilly, even if they are fucking neuter, you know, without having some sort of like, you know, urge to choke. But we'll see. The music that makes me smile every time I hear it blasts out into the arena. MXN Collection are here. They are so fucking cool. Johnny TV comes out with his teammates and all four battle pose on the entrance stage. Taya Valkyrie is in all of the black, wearing a divinely dramatic, puffed-sleeved for the gods black coat that goes down to the floor. She is looking expensive. Her battle gear is black with sparkles and yellow fire decal. Taya has on her fluffy leg warmers, as is tradition. I love them so much. I have my own. It is cold now down here in Aotearoa, so I get to wear them lots, and it makes me very happy. But enough about me. Mansoor and Ishii get the match started. After Ishii chops a hole through Mansoor, he tags out to Taya. Taya has no fear and stomps right up to Tomohiro and chest bumps him a few times, which is hilarious, egging him on to fight her. Ishii contemplates it for a moment, but Willow is itching to be tagged in, so he turns to face her. Taya says no to that, turns Ishii around and chops him slap bang in the middle of his stone-like chest. It does nothing to the stone pitbull, but Taya is super pleased with herself, turns to her fellow team members and giggles with delight about how great she is. Taya cannot see that Ishii has been tagged away, has tagged in Willow, and gets quite the shock when she turns around and gets greeted by stiff shots to the chest. Taya is sent backwards with every single shot and then is slammed down to the mat. A battle cry from Willow, and she bounces off the ropes, successfully landing her low crossbody into a kawaii, but unsuccessful at keeping Taya down for that pin, who engages in very strong kicky feet and kicks out at one. Taya tags in the magnificent Mason Madden. Willow puffs her up like she's a big Papa Pump Nightingale as Mason circles her. Taya is on the floor getting her stamina back and clearing her head with the help from Mr. TV Valkyrie. Madden tries to take Willow out with a clothesline, but Willow ducks his arm, scurries to the corner, and tags in Briscoe. After some superb wrestling, we get a Team Heels collective battle pose, and Mrs. and Mr. Valkyrie pash each other with unbridled passion, as is their tradition, but it's a bit much. Taya's hands get also a little adventurous, and the commentary team almost disintegrates right there. But Willow was having none of it and complains to the ref, calling out shenanigans. Briscoe tags in Willow, and she hiffs Mansoor over the top rope and onto the floor. Taya comes into the ring and attempts to kick Willow's head off, but the hero of the locker room ducks the deadly boot and nails Taya with a hard lariat. Taya tries to get to her feet, but is sent down to the mat 2 more times. Taya uses a lot of stamina getting up from those stiff lariats and retreats to the corner for some kind of solace. Willow is not going to give her none, though, and back body slams into Taya Valkyrie with a complimentary lariat. Willow shoves Taya out of the corner, climbs the ropes, and missiles her body at Taya Valkyrie and hits her with a dropkick. Taya rolls her butt out of that ring, and Mr. Television is there to try and keep her on her feet. Willow sees a perfect opportunity and cannot resist going out to the apron and takes both of them out with a running cannonball off the apron. Willow lands hard too, but she is currently way too amped up to notice this. Okay, so Willow is definitely, and I'm saying definitely, in the top 5 of the division at the moment, in my opinion. But am I wrong? She is loved by all, strong as fuck, rizzed up the wazoo, tough, fearless. I really hope that Jamie Hayter is not seriously injured at the moment so she can come back real soon as well. And I also hope the same for Harley. Humans being humans, it's really annoying, everyone wants to be at like their physical best, and it would be great to have everyone at their physical best for a really nice chunk of time. While I'm on this subject, we need more Athena on AEW Telly. I feel like I don't even need to explain why I want that either, because it's so goddamn obvious. And it's a thought that's shared by like many people. Diamante pledged allegiance to Athena on Ring of Honor a while back, and she hasn't been around since that match we talked about. Kiera Hogan has been missing in action for a while, and I'd like that to stop, please, if at all possible. Chris has a lot on her mind, and I wonder when she's going to reveal what she's been pondering to us. Lady Frost needs to be on AEW regularly as well. Can we have her in the division permanently, please? Hikaru Shida is still having visa purgatory, which is annoying. Deonna Purrazzo is ready to go. The massive hole that has been left in the division by Nyla Rose's absence. In that regards, I can see there might be potential for her safety, which makes me mad. I would also love to have Ruby Soho back at some point, and Yuka, the sweet Oni Sakazaki, absolutely needs more airtime. But I just waffled off on a big tangent on that one. Speaking of airtime, Mansoor gets some via the pounce from Willow after he yoinks Briscoe with a beautiful sunset flip. Willow goes to the corner where Ishii is keeping Madden in place. Willow slaps the chest of Mason, climbs up to Brett's rope of healing power, and the two wrestlers suplex Madden to the mat, and he lands with an almighty thud. The crowd jumps to their feet, and all the men folk exit the ring very theatrically. Taya scampers into the ring and pulls Willow down for a cheeky little roll-up, but Willow powers out of it at 2. Taya thinks quick and attempts a roundhouse kick to the face, but Willow is quicker and dunks the kick. Taya and Willow tussle for a bit, but Willow gains control and slams Taya to the mat with her finisher, the babe with the powerbomb. Taya is out, and Willow gets the 1, the 2, the 3, 4, the win. Whoo, they went through a tough battle, but Willow is still smiling ear to ear. She loves Battle, and Battle looks great on her. Like I say, she is non-bothered. She is being able to get out all of her rage and frustration on Marina Shafir and the other Death Riders, just fighting with her friends. She's loving it. Like, she's living her best life right now. And poor Chris. Well, I say poor Chris. That's a bit condescending, isn't it? There's no poor Chris here, but Chris is having a moment. And if this leads to dark stat, then I'm all here for it. Your girl loves a dark mode. Let's just say that. We shimmy over to a backstage segment that was taped after last week's Fighter Fest. We are following Chris Statlander out of the building, and a voice from beyond is trying to get her to answer some questions. Chris is pissed, instantly goes off at the camera. She is full of fire, frustration, and fury, and she feels very unappreciated. Doesn't say by who, but just unappreciated in general. She obviously hasn't been seeing the Discord. A wild fucking Yuta shows up out of nowhere and attempts to have a heart-to-heart with the angry Statlander. Statlander listens to what he has to say begrudgingly and then walks off. Marina Shafir then walks through the gate, and the two women stare each other down, having some sort of telepathic conversation that only babes who will legit kill you can have. Chris walks away without a word, and fucking Yuta joins Marina, and he giggles maniacally but also awkwardly. Marina stares straight through him, and we bugger off to the ring. What is going on there, people? Whoo! Everyone's been theorizing and wondering. Funnily enough, I had a little theory about one little theory. I had a little ponder about that maybe last week's episode or the episode before. I was like, each time that Chris has been like in the shadows or watching from, the telly, she's been watching Willow facing Marina. And I pondered, perhaps maybe it's not Willow she's watching at all. Perhaps it's Marina. Definitely watching Willow this time, though. But then we get this backstage thing with Marina. Pondery, ponders. The remarkably gorgeous in black Renee Paquette is backstage attempting to get the scoops on the condition of dear Will Ospreay. But before she can even try, a wild hangman appears, followed quickly by the young bucks of Cuckhood, and our reporter on the scene, Renee, does a fantastic job of slinking away whilst almost simultaneously positioning the mic closer as to catch all sorts of goss. Things start off smoothly, but eventually Matthew says something that pisses Hangman off and he starts raging. Renee is like, "Laters," and we quickly follow behind her. We lose Renee, but find a toxic spider as she hits the ring in a darkened arena. A menacing glow of red around the ring makes the red on Tekla's gear pop. Tekla is in the same gear as last week, and she is ready to fight. Tekla battle poses on the corner ropes and looks effortlessly badass. The smooth beats of Queen Aminata's music hits, and she comes out in some new lavender purple battle gear, complemented with sparkles and soft embroidered lace shawl in the same color that hits the floor. Queen Aminata is wearing a matching headscarf, which is tied up on her head in a particularly traditional fashion way, but I was unable to exactly clarify what this style is called, so I do apologize. Please tell me if you have actual knowledge on the subject. I appreciate it. I tried to find any, but I couldn't, so I'm not going to say the wrong thing. The one and only battle poses on the entrance stage and makes her way into the ring. Another flawless battle pose in the middle of the ring, and she locks eyes with Tekla, who is crouched in the corner, watching the Queen's move everything. Whereas I awkwardly stare at the camera like this because I'm a professional. Yes. I'm just gonna disappear for 1 second. Goodbye. She's back. While the commentators really hammer home the arachnid theme to Tekla's fighting technique, Queen Aminata walks confidently to the middle of the ring. Tekla quickly gets to her feet and tests Queen Aminata's reflexes with a roundhouse kick. The one and only is very fast, and she avoids it easily. Tekla is impressed and backs off. The two wrestlers size up one another again, and when Tekla thinks she has an opening, she kicks her. But her kicks are avoided by the Queen, and Tekla finds herself yoinked by Aminata and front slammed down onto the mat. Queen Aminata and Tekla engage in a beautiful dance of technical violence, both impressed by each other's ability to counter their own intentions. Tekla's face is giving away nothing, while Queen Aminata wears a confident yet slightly mischievous smile on her face and mocks Tekla's height compared to her own towering frame. Tekla acts like she is going to attempt to lock hands with the Queen, but instead lands a spicy slap square on the jaw of the one and only. And you know that had to piss the Queen off. Both of these wrestlers like to play rough, so we are in for some heavy-hitting women's wrestling right now. So unclutch those pearls, insert them back into your butthole, and get settled, because this match is about to get heavy. Tekla has an attitude, a mad fighting spirit, and came up through the hardcore underground and into gender matches. All of that before even going to the Joshi Dojo. Queen Aminata has been beating bitches, respectfully, in the division for months and has got to be itching to test out the limits of Tekla. Queen Aminata gave Tekla a receipt for that slap, which came with a notice of closure, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tekla had a permanent handprint on the inside of her mouth from that slap. Woo! Queen Aminata gets a good handful of Tekla's hair and whips her repeatedly into the mat. Tekla gets to her feet, and Aminata double chops Tekla's chest that collapses the toxic spider. Sorry. Aminata nails Tekla in the head with a running knee, and Tekla gets sent rolling sliding out of the ring onto the floor. Tekla takes a while, checks out her jaw, stretches out her neck and shoulders while Queen Aminata watches her every move from inside the ring. Tekla plays around, taking her time coming back into the ring, but when she does, Queen Aminata sprints into action and clocks Tekla with a running boot to the face, while Tony Schiavone annoyingly fucking annoys the living shit out of me with his constant saying of the word spider. The wrestlers engage in their violent dance again. Honestly, if I should have counted it. But no, it was annoying me that much. I was trying to block it out. If I tried to count it, then I'd be even more annoyed. But fuck me. The amount of time Spider is mentioned in this match, we get it. Let us watch the match. Queen Aminata gets hung up over the ropes and cannot avoid Tekla's stiff kicks to the skull. Tekla grabs Queen, who is down on the mat, and puts her into the corner face first. The conjoining of Tekla's hair with Queen Aminata blocks the view of what she was doing, but it kind of seemed like Tekla was either gouging at the eyes or messing with the mouth of Queen Aminata. Either way, it was illegal, and the cop came in, and the ref told her to stop all that nonsense, or you're going to wrestler jail. The Queen gets the fuck out of that corner, but Tekla follows close behind and uses Aminata's six-pack abs as a punching bag. The Queen quickly activates and reverses it on Tekla. With Tekla now in the corner, Queen Aminata chops the skin off of her chest and then gives Tekla a good few forearms. When Queen Aminata winds up for a sickening blow, Tekla ducks it, quickly spins Aminata into the corner and delivers a deep kick to the gut. I just made myself cracking up by seeing myself in the corner of my eye do this. Fuck, it's the simple things, isn't it? Tekla takes Aminata by the head and takes her down to the mat. Once Tekla applies a leg scissors choke around Aminata's neck. Oh, she then applies the choke. The Queen doesn't get up, so Tekla pushes her thumbs into Aminata's eyes right in front of the ref, though. So he starts counting. Aminata engages alligator mode and tries to roll her way out of this hold, but Tekla also has engaged alligator mode, so both counter each other's rollies. And instead, Queen Aminata has to push up, redistribute her weight, and get Tekla onto her shoulders for a pin. Tekla kicks out and moves on to work with Queen Aminata's arm instead. Tekla wraps Aminata's arm around her throat, but Queen Aminata defiantly refuses to give up. This will become a habit, even when Tekla pushes down on the back of Queen Aminata's neck. Tekla gives up on the submission, though, and stomps on the back of Queen Aminata and then puts her into a different submission, the bridging figure four neck lock she calls the death trap choke. Tekla turns it illegal, though, by gouging Aminata's eyes right in front of the ref again. She has to let that go. Tekla goes for a pin, but Queen Aminata defiantly kicks at it. Run! Because how dare you wreck my eyes? Fair enough. Tekla pulls Queen Aminata up by the hair and sucks Tekla hard in the gut and then plants her in the corner with a sharp chop. Aminata puts some pressure on the throat of Tekla and then clocks her in the face with an excellent headbutt. Queen Aminata takes Tekla to the mat and attempts a pin, but only gets a 2 on the toxic spider. Remember, she's a spider? Aminata quickly takes Tekla off her feet again and a tight little package, but Tekla explodes out of it at 2. Queen Aminata sends Tekla into the opposite corner, and then she quickly scampers up the ropes. Aminata runs in but gets caught in a head scissors, and then Tekla does the Jorogumo, the rope hung figure 4 neck lock, which is, of course, an illegal submission, but Tekla has until 5, and she takes advantage of every count. Tekla releases her legs, and Queen Aminata just drops to the mat. Everyone is very impressed. Tekla takes her time getting back into the ring, and when she does, Queen Aminata pulls Tekla's feet out from underneath her, bridges over, and pins Tekla, but can only keep her down for 2. Tekla gets to her feet, but gets a stiff elbow to the face, followed by double lariats and then a swift suplex, almost like a DDT from Queen Aminata, and she holds her down for a pin, but can only get 2. Queen Aminata is quick to keep Tekla in her control and takes her back down to the mat with a lovely fisherman's neck breaker. The toxic spider seeks solace in the corner, but Aminata swiftly runs in and clocks her off with her head. Aminata pulls Tekla to the middle of the ring and folds her up for a pin, but Tekla can still kick out at 2. Queen Aminata kicks at Tekla, whips her to the ropes, but gets kicked in the gut by Tekla. The two wrestlers are now at a standstill and cannot seem to get the upper hand long enough to successfully pin the other, and they're getting frustrated. Queen Aminata cracks Tekla in the head with a headbutt she calls the Queen's Crown. This might be the opening that she needed. Queen Aminata is a bit stunned herself, but gets Tekla in chocolate kisses and knocks Tekla loopy. But Queen Aminata gives her a stiff kick to the chest just to be sure. Queen Aminata drags Tekla to the corner, climbs to the top rope, and double stomps down onto Tekla's stomach. Queen Aminata then pulls Tekla to her feet by her hair and lays in forearms. Tekla gets up, gets an opening, and clocks Aminata with some back elbows. Tekla rolls Aminata up for a cheeky little pin, but the one and only powers out of it at 2. A stiff forearm from Tekla knocks Queen Aminata down. Tekla spider walks, which signals that she is lining up Aminata for her devastating spear. Queen Aminata gets trapped in Tekla's spider's choke. Queen Aminata has to tap out, and Tekla gets the victory. Now, Tekla's heel side just cannot resist holding Queen Aminata down after the pin, but the Queen Aminata just gets really pissed and punches her off. No doubt we will be seeing these two fight again. Hardcore match, perhaps? No DQ, falls count anywhere. Last man standing? When's the last time we've had a last man standing match in AEW? If it can come to your head straight away, you let me know in the comments. But have we had a woman's last man standing before? Don't let me do that. I'll be waffling off and just like looking out into the distance for like 5 years if I start that thought. So we're going to be moving on. We end the show with Lexi Nair getting more scoops from a very dysfunctional Cage family, and we leave the broadcast. Over on our Ring of Honor broadcast, we get a lovely cold opening from the infantry. Trisha Dora looks amazing in hot pink. That's her color. And yes, I can now confirm that she does have bills in her gutter. The woman is prepared. Don't know what denomination they are, but I'm assuming hundreds. I mean, look at it. Another woman who comes prepared, though, is Red Velvet, and we get a lovely little promo from the Ring of Honor World Women's Television Champion. She will be in Mexico for AEW's Grand Slam Extravaganza. Red Velvet has a proving ground match here next against Harleen Lopez. Harleen. It's like Harlem, but leaning. Totally moving on. Harleen Lopez is from Philadelphia. Her nickname is the Spiteful Brute, which I love. She uses a hammerlock DDT that she calls Brute Spike, and also a crossface and an octopus stretch, which are fabulous submissions. Harleen has been in wrestling for a mere 3 years and very recently became the inaugural Power Pro Lucha Prodigy Cup Championship winner. Congratulations. Red Velvet's music hits and she comes out in her blue, white, and red battle gear, appropriately sparkled for a champion. Harleen Lopez is in a red and black battle two-piece and looks ready to fight. Handshake of Honor is complete and the two wrestlers waste no time locking up. An even beginning between the two until Lopez's strength collides with Velvet's quickness and the world television champion is knocked down to the mat. This pisses the champion off and she comes back strong with a perfect split to avoid the incoming Harleen and then clocks her with a strong high kick from the face to the face. Red Velvet has the ego of a champion, and she is not going to appreciate being, shown up by this little 3-year in the biz woman. Red Velvet demolishes Lopez in the corner with her fast, heavy fists, followed by multiple stomps and a split choke. All illegal, but very effective in the amount of time it takes for the ref to count to 5. Red Velvet now feels like the world is in order again, but ends up running full speed into a throat chop from Lopez. Very smart from the. I don't really want to call her a rookie, but Harleen is back in control, sending Red into the corner and beating her down with a back elbow body splash. Did I mention this was a proving ground match? It's a proving ground match, just so you know. Followed by another elbow. A beautiful butterfly suplex sends red velvet smashing down into the red velvet. No. And Harleen lets out a satisfying battle cry, bicep slap combo. Red Velvet comes back at Harleen, and the two wrestlers engage in a heavy-hitting dance of violence that lights them both up. Harleen gets caught in Red Velvet's clutches, and she plants Harleen Lopez face first into the mat with a lovely-looking facebuster. That'll be the pin, folks. A 1, a 2, and a 3, and a saucy Red Velvet gets the win. I like this Harleen Lopez. She is very, very, very strong, and she's a heavy hitter, and she's only been in for like 3 years, but she is like so good. One of her trainers is the iconic Cheeseburger. I remember first seeing Cheeseburger in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I had also been watching the animated movie Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs too. And if you are a watcher of that movie, you will know that the machine goes cheeseburger. And so now every time I see cheeseburger, I, in my head, can always go cheeseburger. And so now you know. Isn't life great? MXN Collection's Mansoor is having a match against the Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito. Hooray! Because this means we get some Taya Valkyrie. It is doing me proud in this very sexy black halternet dress with a fuck ton of like cutouts. Woo! And her black thigh-high boots. Good grief. Good grief. Of course, there is shenanigans from the ringside trio of mischief, and the ref catches on eventually and sends them all out to the back. So goodbye, Taya. Sayonara, Ring of Honor. Konnichiwa, the last segment of this episode. Okay, so something happened way back when in 2020 that was only an online stream, but the potential of me just forgetting it was a thing is also very possible. And also the potential of me remembering it halfway through talking about it is also very potential, because just before all of this, like a whole bunch of memories from this tournament just came flooding my brain. So I definitely watched this as it came out. It's on YouTube. You can keep watching it. You can still watch it. It's still up there. Even the finals are on the AEW YouTube page for you to watch. Even though it's on a Dynamite, you can watch it there for free. Way back in 2020 of August, from the 8th to the 22nd, AEW held a women's tag team cup tournament, and they called it the Deadly Draw. This was held at home base, Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. And I just had a really silly thought when I was writing this. Imagine Nicholas and Matthew bought Jacksonville and renamed it Matthew in Jacksonville. I am so lame. The final took place on a Saturday episode of Dynamite, with the winning team claiming the trophy and the medals. And it was the medals that totally opened up this whole memory of this tournament, because I remember the winners bringing their medals out all the time after this. Don't know what happened to the cup. It could be bloody anywhere. No idea. The winning team also claimed the trophy. Absolutely nothing else happened in regards to starting a tag division after this, though, sadly, because, imagine what it would be now if it did. This tournament was a blind pairing, though, sort of dealio, with wrestlers being paired up with each other by what color they picked. And in this pre-thing, which was done with Medusa, you get more Medusa in these side bits, and she's on the show more than I talk about, but not really that interesting. So Veda Scott would also join the commentary team for these matches with Tony Schiavone. Now, as I think I mentioned a little later on, there are some shenanigans because is it just two or is it three? Either two or three. Yeah, three. Three of the tag teams that end up in this blind, deadly deal tournamenty doohickey are absolutely tag teams before. So shenanigans are aplenty, and maybe that's why the tournament never happened again. It's because you couldn't find anyone like trustworthy enough to. Maybe that's why Medusa's not on AEW anymore, because she can't be trusted with a tournament drawing. Anyway, your guess is as good as mine. We are clearly building a tag division now, though, people, aren't we? There are three clear teams right now being made. TJ, obviously. So long, fruit salad. I loved you. Mega Bad, obviously, with Julia Hart and Sky Blue. Like, those are three definites, right? So I came across this little tournament again while I was looking for specifically Nyla Rose matches because I miss her and it's Pride worldwide. Nyla Rose ended up in this tournament pairing with Adrian Andrews, aka Cameron, aka one half of the Funkadactyls with Miss Money in the Bank, Naomi, aka Trinity from TNA. What I used to think they were called. I was always the Funkadactyls, but I used to always call them. It always get muddled up in my brain. I used to always call them something else. I think it was like the Funkadactyls or something. Doesn't make sense. But what are the Funkadactyls? Moving on. On night one, we had the Nightmare Sisters, which are Brandy Rose and Allie, versus Penelope Ford and Mel. Now, by this point, Mel has left the Nightmare. Were they called the Nightmare Collective? I cannot remember what Brandy Rose named her faction, which involved Awesome Kong and then eventually Mel, and Luther was in it as well. Crap, I can't remember what it is, but shenanigans went on. I'm not quite too sure. I'm sure we'll come across them later in some other look back or something. But so this is after all that. But Brandy and Allie are also not really working out that well together because Brandy is fully in her the world revolves around Brandy mode. So she's getting really annoying. Medusa, like I mentioned her before, she comes out and she gives a speech to open up the tournament. She will also return in these little promos that they have with the people pulling out the colors. And then she's also there for the crowning of said champions at the end. Mel will come first, and she is in all black battle leather gear. It's amazing. And then next out, we have the super bad Penelope Ford, who comes out with her husband, Kip Sabian. Mel and Penelope seem confident, even though they haven't, tagged together, and they await the arrivals of their opponents, who they knew are going to be sassy bitches, the Nightmare Sisters, Brandy and Allie. Now, of course, like I said, this was all meant to be a random drawing of colors to see who teams with who. But the Nightmare Sisters pulled out their own colors. There is definitely shenanigans going on by, Chief Brand Officer Miss Brandy Rhodes. Brandy. I don't know why, but it's really satisfying to just go Brandy. Brandy and Allie come out with Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall. And this confuses me even more now because Dustin has never been a heel in AEW. But of course, QT Marshall is. And I forgot that QT Marshall and Allie had this, not a thing, but a thing, So weird. And so Brandy, Brandy confuses me so much with her character. Is she heel? Is she not heel? Is she heel trying to be babyface? Is she babyface trying to be heel? Goodness gracious, woman, pick a lane. Penelope and Allie lock up first. Mel, like I said, used to be in Brandy's cult. No doubt we will come across this again at some point. Mel gets her hand on Brandy Rose and beats her down. It's an absolute brawl and goes to the outside multiple times. Mel would have gotten the pin on Brandy as well, as she got her with her finisher, slap bang in the middle of that ring, clean as fuck. But the ref was like distracted by shenanigans going on with Ellie, so there was no count. A little bit like not too long after that as well, Ellie rakes Mel's eyes and Brandy nails her with her spear. And that's it. That's the 1, 2, 3. The Nightmare Sisters win. It's a hard hitting match, and like I say, they go to the ring lots and lots of times. Many shenanigans. Not as many shenanigans as I thought, but many shenanigans. Beat the microphone. Anna Jay and Ty Conti, now Mello, teamed up for the first time ever. And this is the beginning of Ty J. All the way back here in August 2020 is the first time that these two teamed up. Ha-ha! And so that's like, whoa. So that's like coming up to like almost 5 years of Ty J. You know, if you include like her time off for like Bebe and stuff. Of course you do. Adrienne and Anna start the match off. Oh, yes, because Nyla Rose and Adrienne are now in the ring. I didn't write that down in my little scripty here because I'm a numbnuts. Adrienne and Anna start off this match, and those two go at it for a while. Adrienne wants to tag in Nyla after some heavy shots from Anna Jay, but Nyla was like, what? I thought you got this, girl, and she refuses to tag him. Vicky Guerrero is also out here with Nyla, and due to this being a match during the C19, you can hear her echo all around Daly's place. You have like the roster ringside, of course, but frickin' Vicky, that woman, she is a pilot light. What pilot light? Thinking of beacon, and then my mouth said pilot light. Anyway, Anna Jay and Ty definitely work more cohesively, and this gets them the win. Nyla was down on the ground after having her knee demolished by Ty and Jay. Adrienne didn't notice a tag had been made between Ty and Jay, and she gets nailed with a gorgeous net breaker by Anna. And that will give you the 1, 2, 3 on Adrienne. Nyla gets back into the ring after the victor's hands have been raised and she gotten out of the ring, and she clobbers Adrienne with a lariat. Holy crap. She just leaves Adrienne lying slap bang in the middle of the ring. And I think that, okay. I was just about to say, I think that's the last and like the one and only time we see her, but now my brain's like remembering something else, but this could have been something. We'll find out later on, eh? Brandy's ego, and only Brandy's ego, gives a promo after this, and we end the show. Moving on to night 2, we have a very, very entertaining match between the team of Leva Bates and Roche Chanel. Oh, I think it's Roche Chanel versus Big Swole and Lil Swole. Chanel and Lil Swole lock up first. I love Roche Chanel. She is brilliant. She cracks me the fuck up. She is full kayfabe character, and yeah, I just love her to bits. But she gets tied up and clobbered by Lil Swole a lot. Lil Swole is spicy, and Big Swole has to drag her away from fighting on the outside, like during the match, before they were going to get freaking counted out. Big Swole punishes Leva Bates for a bit, but Leva can take the walloping and comes back with some heavy offense of her own. Eventually, the experience of being a team gives Lil Swole and Big Swole an edge, and they get the win. Like I say, it's been rigged, people. They celebrate in the ring, no more shenanigans happen, and we move on. Rachel Ellering gets teamed up with Dasha Gonzalez. Yes, the Spanish announcer, Dasha Gonzalez. I had completely forgotten that she wrestled on the show as well. Completely forgotten. They are facing the badass team of Ivelisse and Diamante. Fuck, I love Ivelisse and Diamante as a team. They were just they were so good. Now, no bullshit. There is no way that Ivelisse and Diamante are not winning this match. They go on to form a very powerful tag team, and I am now starting to realize why the tag team division might have hit a wall. A lot of the wrestlers that were in established tag teams either lost both or one of the members in the years around now and 2021-ish. Yeah, which sucks. A beautiful destroyer from Evilise gives Diamante the win. Gives them both the win, and they move on. Night 3, the Nightmare Sisters face Big and Lil Swole. Brandy brings her action figure to the ring, and you can see that Allie is starting to get a bit sick of her shit. Dr. Britt Baker comes out at some point on her wheelchair throne and yells shit at the wrestlers from a safe distance with her bullhorn. Totally forgot about the bullhorn, and this was peak DMD shit stirring era. So many like memories of her being wheeled out on her fucking wheelchair throne with her bullhorn, and Rebel's just there, just lapping it up, just being her fucking sidekick. Oh my gosh, so funny. She's so funny. DMD kicks ass at being a heel. She really does. I hope she is fit enough to be able to come back again, and I want to see her as a heel because she's brilliant. The Nightmare Sisters end up taking the win with a down the rabbit hole by Allie. Ty comes out first, and then Anna Jay gets accompanied to the ring by her fellow Dark Order members. So if you want to see the Exalted One, Brody Lee, with all of his crew, he comes out too. It's beautiful to see. I love that that these, not everyone. I mean, that's, I guess, the benefit of photos and stuff, but I love in one way that people can be immortalized like this, They're always there. You just gotta put them on. Evilise and Diamante come out next, and it will be Evilise locking up with Ty first. It is a heavy-hitting technical match, and it is definitely worth the watch. It's brilliant. Evilise and Diamante win, of course, with the double team on Ty. But fuck, it was good. Yeah, like I say, I'm so gutted that shit went sideways with Evilise because they were such a good fucking team. The finals will be the Nightmare Sisters versus Evilise and Diamante. Now, I remember thinking, fuck, the Nightmare Sisters are totally going to win this, aren't they? But Brandy drives Allie mad during the final promo, and we bugger off. Coming in on a Saturday night episode of Dynamite, for whatever reason, we get the final of the Women's Tag Team Cup tournament. The discourse between Allie and Brandy seems to not be a factor in this match, but they cannot defeat the superior team of Evilise and Diamante. Brandy almost gets a pedigree on Evilise, and that totally opened up a whole string of memories of like, oh yeah, she used to do the pedigree. But Evilise counters and throws her over the top rope to the outside, taking out QT Marshall at the same time. Evilise and Diamante double team Allie and get the 1, the 2, and the 3. Diamante and Evilise are your first and only Women's Tag Team Cup winners, unless there's another one, but I don't think there is. Perhaps we shall get another kind of tag team tournament like this in the future to crown the first ever champions of the division. We shall be watching and waiting and seeing. I was again dominated. Intrusive thoughts are coming out now. I was gutted when Evilise was released from AEW because I was a big fan of hers. She looked great. She was a perfect little heel. She fought rough and she had spicy attitude, but it was not meant to be. Her and Diamante were dominating like the tag team division, though. Absolutely dominating. They received some lovely flowers, their medals, and the cup was like there, but it wasn't like presented to them. Haven't you noticed that like happens a lot in wrestling? Like they get presented like this like cup, but it's almost like just a photo op cup. It's not a real cup. It's just a decorative cup. Kind kind of annoys me, but never mind. I really wish they put, and I'm clicking for emphasis, that they put the names around the bottom of the Owen Hart Cup of like all the winners. I had a look, like, and I think I might have mentioned this as well, but I had a look the last time the cameras were on it, and they're not there. But they should. They totally should. Like, etch that little shit in there. It'd be great. Totally do it. And with that, my lovely sickos, I leave you at the end of this episode 17. I remember this time. What are your thoughts on this week's discussion? If you wish, you can leave them as little comments in the appropriate sections for wherever you are. Let me know if there are any women's wrestlers or matches you'd like me to talk about, and if you would be so kind as to like and subscribe while you are here, I'd be very grateful. I was about to say like and describe. You can like and describe things as well, but if you could also just like chuck in a subscribe before you do the deciding, or even afterwards, just make sure you get that in there. Whatever, way you want to do it is up to you, but as long as you do all three, we're fine. What am I doing? I am lurking in the dungeons of threads at Bex_Bastet and under a tree in Sky Blue. I am in Sky Blue at Bex-Bastet. I'm not going to even redo that because that cracked me up. Today, I want to shout out, sit down, shut up, mark out. Joshi G is back, and it is a great show they've got going on this week. Thank you, as always, to Shane, my excellent producer, editor, promoter extraordinaire. Go check out some of his wonderful work at the Ethos Media Network. Go check out sickosclub.com. I am currently in, just taking a step back, that pile driving fascists t-shirt. Yosh, they are now in stock at sickosclub.com. Go get yourself one of those and join us at Sickos Club on Threads. You have never met a more inclusive, smart, kind, and talented bunch of silly sausages until you have hooked up with Sickos. It's time for me to go. This was Don't Call Me Diva. Women's wrestling fucking rules. And don't be a dick.
Breaking news from the stadium tonight as an anonymous fan foot the bill for 55,000 hot dogs, bringing that sweet tubed meat to everyone in attendance.
Free dogs! Yeah!
55,000 hot dogs? What does that even cost?
While the identity of this Frankfurter philanthropist remains anonymous, their all-beefy generosity will go down in history.
The new Mega Millions. More to win means more to give. How you spend it is up to you.
Yeah!
For game odds and details, visit sceducationlottery.com.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.